May the 4th be with you, and welcome to an all-new episode of Press YYZ. We're the only Canadian gaming podcast that you can catch live on Twitch every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Starting on time for once, because that Nathan guy ain't here holding us back.
Oh, no, he
as well
ain't.
As on, oh, no, he ain't. As well as on podcast services and YouTube every Thursday. My name is AJ Fraser, and today I am joined by Alexander Kozina.
Glad to be here, AJ. I had some $5 gnocchi for lunch today. It was great because I found this one restaurant near where I work that only sells $5 gnocchi with some Parmesan cheese on top. They sell it out of a window in those little like Chinese takeout box container things. It was great.
Amazing. And also joining us is you, the listener. Surprise, it's just us. Just us, me and Kozi. The two surviving Alexanders of this podcast who have not been bitten by snakes. Yep.
It's not, for the record, this will not be a one-on-one episode, though. Oh, no. We are going to some very weird, very unusual places. Boy. So
you have told me this, and you said, do you want to host? And I said, yes. And you are going to take the reins when things get nuts. So that will be exciting. Before we get started, though, a reminder, as always, that we here at Press YYZ stand against discrimination of any kind. While we appreciate however you choose to give back to our show, there is no better way to support us than by being excellent to each other. A little bit of housekeeping. Kozi, you are going to be playing Pokemon Emerald tomorrow on your Twitch channel. What's going on there?
Yeah, so last week on Press YZ, I talked about how I wanted to get back into the video game streaming game after doing Season 3 of Kozi Bear's Cooking. I said at the time that I was planning on doing a Nuzlocke run of Pokemon Emerald. That has not changed. What has changed ever so slightly is the exact version of Pokemon Emerald I'm going to be playing. Famously, most games from the Game Boy Advance generation are like pretty good in terms of their quality of life offerings. Like the whole kind of pitch for that generation of handheld Nintendo games is that, hey, it's like the Super Nintendo, but a little bit more quality of life-ified. But nevertheless, they are still a little bit dated in some ways. And so I was quite delighted when about a week and a half ago on Twitter, I came across at Jaizu Fan Gaming, who is a kind of ROM hacker dude who just released the beta for what he is calling Pokemon Emerald Cross, which is basically a quality of life fan game of Pokemon Emerald that does not tremendously change up the core experience of what Emerald has to offer, but adds in a lot of cool little kind of quality of life touches and changes here and there, like indicating what natures increase what stats on the Pokemon that you have, allowing you to kind of use different kinds of music that normally is not available in Emerald when surfing, or using different types of mini games when doing things like fishing, for example, borrowing stuff from Fire Red and Leaf Green, which were also available on the Game Boy Advance at the same time, as well as making it very easy to perform a Nuzlocke run in the game by making it so that when your Pokemon should perish, they will automatically be deleted from the game. You don't have to go to a PC box and kind of stash them away there or delete them from existence manually.
That sounds helpful. And like where it just happens, right? Like the story of a Nuzlocke is that your Pokemon is like dead when it faints instead, right? And so it's like just getting it out of the way and like having it, like, not having to then go through the motions or even the temptation to cheat it. You just play it and it just goes. That sounds rad.
And apparently this guy is planning on adding some cool stuff in the future to Emerald Cross, including the ability to see your Pokemon follow you around, which of course is a much beloved feature in games like Let's Go Pikachu or Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So that's going to be pretty fun. Don't think that particular feature will feature in the beginning of my run that I'm going to be doing tomorrow, but eventually at some point in the future. So tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST, twitch.tv/CoziBearLive, KOZIBEARLIVE. Go and check it out.
Awesome sauce. All right. Yeah, so I think that's it for housekeeping. But we have some business to take care of. we need to discuss Turnip Boy commits tax evasion.
So,
are you ready?
Yes, I am. I am, AJ.
Okay. Go for it.
I want to just start off by asking you something real simple. Did you play this game?
Mm-hmm. I put in a good hour today, and I think I know exactly what that game is.
Okay. I really wanted to like this game. Let me tell you.
Okay.
I went into this game being, okay, this is a goofy game in which you play as a turnip that commits tax evasion. This is going to be a fun, silly, goofy time, but it will be some easy trophies / achievements. In this case, achievements.
Which it is.
Played it on Xbox Game Pass.
Which so far it is very easy ones of those.
I started playing it and I'm like, this feels an awful lot like a Ratalaika game. Now, if you're listening to this podcast and you're not familiar with the wonderful publisher that is Ratalaika, Ratalaika is basically a group of development studios that all produce games that basically allow you to just inhale trophies at a rapid pace. Back during the kind of waning years of the Vita, they released a lot of games across both the Vita and PlayStation 4 that allowed you to do so, and across multiple different territories as well. So you could get, it's Milo's Quest, where you play as like a dog in a Zelda-like adventure on the Vita. Then you could get it on the PS4 in North America. Then you can get it on the PS4 for Europe, and then you could get it on the PS4 for Hong Kong, whatever, so on. First hour, not even first hour, first 10 minutes of the game, I'm like, this is an awful lot like a Ratalaika game. I was kind of hoping for something a little bit touch more high quality. Keep playing it a little bit more, I'm like, okay, this game's hidden depth is revealing itself. I think maybe I was a little bit unfair to kind of write it off as a like better promoted Ratalaika game right up front. Keep playing it a little bit longer. Man, I'm beginning to get a little bit confused as to where to go. This game is not communicating well what I got to do next, and also combat kind of sucks. Keep playing it a little bit more. Okay, getting a little bit more in the hang of it. I'm not going to love this game, but I'll be able to knock it out within the next couple of hours or so. This game's 3 hours. I can manage that. I run into my first show-stopping bug. A bunch of guys are blocking the road to go to a location that I should have access to. I'm able to ultimately get by them by just closing my game and reopening it. Problem solved, right? Yes. At first, I managed to get by them. I managed to complete the second dungeon of the game, which is the Forsaken Farmhouse, I want to say. In any case, I beat it. I'm really happy. I turn off my Xbox thinking, okay, I'm just putting this game into suspend mode.
You needed to save and quit.
I come back to it the next day, and the game did not go into suspend mode. It straight up just closed. So I open it up again, and I'm like, well, whatever. All these games nowadays, autosave. It's not that big of a deal. For whatever reason, I don't know why, it completely borked my save and loaded me into this weird nightmare reality in which I had completed everything that there was to complete in the second dungeon, but I had not unlocked the ability to rescue this one character, this like one shitty cherry that's hiding out somewhere within the second dungeon that I was supposed to deliver to this NPC, that was supposed to deliver to me a key that would allow me to continue on my quest. And there was no way for me to progress other than to just start the game over. And so I decided right then and there, I am done with Turnip Boy commits tax evasion.
So, in the hour or so I put into it today, I got to the same point that you did. I did not run into any of those issues that you were having. Keep in mind, I was also playing the cloud version on my phone. Using my Razer Kishi or whatever. I think that's what that is. The Razer controller that attaches sideways to your phone and makes it look like a Switch. And it's very good for that. This game is very good for that. Have you ever played The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I think I might have played it once or twice.
This is like they took that and made put it in a like the core concepts of that
It's
and made it very silly. Like this
you
game on a is a pandemic quick like let's take a year where we don't know how long we're going to be busy, and we're going to make our own Zelda game, and we're going to put it, in this weird stupid world or whatever about a turnip. This is a Zelda game.
I don't want to like absolutely hate on this game because it's not like utterly without merit, but I feel like you were giving even describing it that way so much more merit. Like this game is like this game is barely Zelda. Not in the sense of what it is from a design perspective, but from just the like level of polish and give a shitness of it.
Because I didn't run into the bugs that you ran into, I did not have an issue with the quote-unquote polish. I did find some of the controls to be a little cumbersome, but specifically you start off or whatever, and you see the onion guy. He's like the mayor of the town.
Yeah,
and you rip up the tax thing, and then he, oh, you got to pay it back, so you have to go on this quest. It's literally you traveling around this overworld map, and you cannot progress unless you get an item. And the first item you get is a watering can, but the next item you get is literally a sword. Literally a sword. You're a turnip wielding this wooden sword thing. What is it? Just vines? Sword vines or whatever?
You like use a watering can to grow the sword, which okay.
Yeah. Super neat. You go into a dungeon, and the dungeon is laid out. It's like room-based. It's a room-based dungeon. Yeah. And you have to, there are these different things you can do with like blocks. There are literal bomb flowers that explode if you water them twice. Yeah. Or you can get these special boots that you water at once, and then you can kick a bomb. So you get the dungeon structure is very much Zelda, because you are going from one end of you start at one end of the dungeon, you go to the other side to grab an item to whether that be an item or a key or something, to go back to the other side of the dungeon to open a locked door, and then that gets you a little bit further, and then you get another item or a key or something, and you go back to the other side of the dungeon to get where you need to go, and then suddenly you fight a boss. And it's not like a 3-act boss structure, but
no, you just whittle it down until it's dead.
You whittle it down until it's dead. You could use your sword if you wanted, but it's advisable usually in these bosses. Both of them allowed the use of these bomb flowers. And so you do that, and then when it dies, in the middle of the room is a heart flower that gives you one more heart of life. This is literally Zelda. So on that hand, like if you're looking for a Zelda-like, it's definitely, in my opinion, scratches that itch.
I think if you need a Zelda-like, you could go better with so many other games. Go and buy Resistance 2
Possibly.
on PS3. You'll enjoy it more as a Zelda game.
Okay, I don't understand that reference, but
what I'm saying is this game. I don't want to. You know what? I'll just say it straight up. I am angry. I am angry that this game led me on a wild goose chase of me thinking, oh, this is going to be like a fun, winky at the camera kind of 3-hour experience. This game is sub Ratalaika. I didn't even say that outright at the beginning, but like ultimately, this game does not measure up to the beautiful men and women that kept the Vita alive during its waning years with super cheap, easy platinum games. I said it. I am not backing down from that. And I don't understand what in God's name Nathan was thinking when he said that he thought this game was kind of fun.
I don't know if you are currently able to detach your experience from the underlying intent of the product currently. because I did not have issues other than the odd network hitch because I was playing it streaming, and that is totally understandable. Other than the controls being a little cumbersome for whatever reason, I was having a hard time like trying to switch items or whatever, just like mastering that, recognizing what I had up on the screen. For me personally, I think this is a decent Zelda-like adventure, and it scratches that itch where it kind of where I could see it being a little grating for some people, especially people, in our age group or even older. Unlike Nathan, is there are a lot of, I'm not going to say pop culture references. There are a lot of modern, like, internet references. Specifically, like, references, like, it just showed up on screen not too long ago about the Slay Queen 93.
Whole, like, weird subplot about a streamer.
She needed her tier 3 sub, and it was a literal, like, submarine sandwich that you had to give her. And it just, like...
It is so halfway there, though. Like, everybody made fun of Guacamelee 1 for having all those memes and stuff. I would much rather take Guacamelee 1 and its memes over whatever this game was going for. Sure.
I think there are some of them in this that are fairly clever, but then some of them are hitting the nail on the head a little bit too hard, kind of like that one. But I think overall that there is something here, and like it's also in general just very satisfying.
It's very satisfying.
Box
quote for
those
this
achievements.
Game. Very satisfying.
You got it. You know what? Maybe not to you, but I think there is something here that is fun. I don't know if I'm going to play any more of it, not because didn't necessarily have fun with it, because there are other things currently that I would rather be playing, just in general.
I will say
and
this.
And that's what I'll say.
The one thing in this game that I did kind of like, the one thing in this game that I did think was kind of cute, is that there is this ongoing joke where whenever Turnip Boy encounters some sort of piece of paper, be it a receipt or a book, he always rips it up. I kind of love that, but it does call into question the whole nature of the plot of this game. Clearly, Turnip Boy is not committing tax evasion. Turnip Boy simply doesn't understand what he's reading whenever he picks up a sheet of paper, and so he sees no other use, no other pleasure to be attained from said piece of paper other than ripping it up. The way I see it, Turnip Boy is being unfairly preyed on by the Onion Dude.
Absolutely. He's like the Tom Nook of this game, the Onion Dude.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Sure.
In that, I guess you could argue that this game makes the subtext of Animal Crossing into plain text. Now, here's the thing. We're going back and forth on the merits of this game. I reached out to Nathan McInerney twice in our Discord to let him know that he could record a video while he's currently traveling abroad to rebuke my dislike of this game and explain why he liked it. That coward didn't produce a single video. He didn't even leave a single response to me. Nevertheless, he did, after first beating the game on Twitch, post his thoughts onto Twitter. So I did want to cede the floor to him very quickly. I don't know what I would expect. No. Hold on a sec. I'm so overcome with rage, I can't even read tweets correctly. Yep. Now, to be fair, most tweets poorly written. Here's what Nathan had to say. I don't know what I expected would happen. I really liked Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Very silly and fun. Again, with the fun, but good. So wait, hold on a sec. Very silly and fun, but good. So he's saying that it's good in spite of being fun?
Okay, so I think this comes from his...
Hold on. But before we try and dissect the mind of one Nathan McInerney, he did also post a video under those words, so I'm going to see what he had to say about it in the moment.
Bring it full screen.
Holy shnoit. We're going to research whatever's beings that lived on this planet before it's destroyed by these devices. We need to dismantle them if we want to protect our future. I'll have Onion do it, Don.
Is that a goddamn nuke?
Well, don't hit the nuke with the shovel. I think we've learned something today.
Wow.
So here's what I'll say. That actually, knowing that you can do that in the game actually kind of brought this game up 20 points for me, but it was at 0 to begin with, so it's only at 20% now.
That honestly, that's a good bit. And like that's like a clip. It like if you were watching live, like he literally walked into a room and there's a bunch of radioactive barrels and smacked the nuke with a hammer, and it just flashes on the screen and then you died. Anyway, back to his tweet really quick. Let's dissect it a little bit more here. I think what he was referring to specifically with the difference between like, silly but fun, right? I was listening to the Nextlander podcast recently in the last couple weeks, and and on it, one Vinny Caravella talks about a parenting moment that he had with his children, where he's at the point now where he has to teach them the difference between funny and silly. Being funny means you're funning around, you're having a good time. Being silly means you're doing something at an inappropriate time. So he's basically saying very silly and fun, but good. So he's saying that it is silly, a little inappropriately silly, not in terms of content, but in structure, but it's still good outside of that. I think that's what he's saying. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I think that Nathan's own wires are getting tripped up. I think I'm going to start a baseless conspiracy theory right here on the podcast. Yep. I think that Nathan hated it as much as I did. And I know that we have an hour-long stream that we could probably just go and watch right now, in which we can actually see Nathan enjoy the game in real time because he streamed this game on his Twitch channel. I'm going to say
that's
baselessly...
fake news, though. That's fake news.
I'm going to say baselessly that Nathan actually hated this game. And I think that he wrote this tweet out in such a way so as to make it clear that he truly did not vibe with this game. I bet that if you let's read it in reverse. Good, but fun and silly. Very. Guys. Think about it. You just had what you thought to be the whale of a time with Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. This is like what was that book there, The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz by Mordecai Rickler? Did you ever read this book?
No.
There's a sequence in this book where basically Duddy Kravitz fashions himself a filmmaker. He makes this film about, I don't know, something going down in like a religious ceremony or something or other. It's completely batshit insane. There's all sorts of crazy stock footage used in it, thunderstorms and lightning. Everybody immediately comes out of it, utterly amazed at what they saw. Nobody really thinks through their thoughts and realizes, oh wait, that film that Duddy Kravitz made was absolute dog shit. It was actually awful. I think that this game pulls off the exact same alchemical reaction in one's brain. It makes you think in the moment, oh wow, this is truly a masterpiece. This is truly a ludic sensation in the making. And then you reflect on it. It's good, but fun and silly. And as you explained, AJ, fun and silly actually can denote negativity.
Correct. That is an interesting take.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've presented the facts. We have presented the facts for you to
FAX
mulch on. Actually, mulch is like the stuff like animal shit that they put on plants, right? Which, by the way, this game should have, because this game itself is mulch. I I think what I meant to say was munch. We've given you plenty of stuff to munch on, plenty of stuff to chew on and savor. I want you guys to go home and I want you to think very carefully about this game and about what Nathan thought about it. And again, there is like an hour-long stream where Nathan actually played this game live and where you can see his reactions to the game live. Don't need to watch that. Unnecessary.
Correct.
Anyways.
Who needs to support our friend Nathan? Nobody. He's good on his own, running around the Maritimes right now, going for 5K jogs and stuff and beautiful scenery. He doesn't need this.
He's not here on the podcast. He didn't record a video defending himself. We don't need to advertise his Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/the_NMAC.
Yeah, who needs to know that? I'll bleep it out in the audio recording. Totally.
Excellent.
Great.
Ultimately, I'd give this game like 1 out of 5 stars. What would you give it?
Honestly, I think it's hovering somewhere. I think I need to spend more time with it. I think it's hovering between a 3 and a 4.
Between a 3 and a 4. Between a 3 and a 4.
Objectively. Reels before feels, Kozi. Reels before feels. Objectively. Between a 3 and a 4.
Like,
just because it broke for you.
The first game that we played on YYZ Reviewy, before we even called it that, was that game made by the guys that made SteamWorld Dig. The one where you're exploring the planet. You got the arm that can... The gunk. There we go. You gotta love it when the gunk directly describes what you're doing in the game, because it makes it easy to remember what it's called. The gunk. That game I gave a 2 out of 5 stars to. I thought, I appreciated that developer image and form trying to make the jump to 3D. I didn't think it came together perfectly. Like, there is no universe in which this game is better than that game. Even though this game, definitely benefits from being like a 2D platformer and the kind of easier polish that comes with that, which, by the way, this game has nothing of. Like, how can you possibly suggest that this is a 4-star game, AJ?
Both of these games are
You're suggesting that this game has more stars than Gusteau's restaurant had at the beginning of Ratatouille.
Both of these games are heavily influenced by Zelda. This one a 2D Zelda, and the gunk is a 3D Zelda, right? So, that being said, from their intention, which one more successfully replicated the experience of a Zelda game? The gunk was like Zelda Jr. for babies, 3D Zelda's Jr. for babies, in terms of its simplicity, and this very accurately represents my experience. So part of the Zelda experience in this, and why I likened it to Link's Awakening, is as you are moving on around the overworld, you find items, and other characters are looking for those items. When you give an item to that character, you then are basically given access to another area, or are given another item that you can trade to another character. So that is very, very much mirroring the similar quest in Link's Awakening.
AJ, just because this game shares words with the Wikipedia entry for The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening does not make it a 4 out of 5 star game.
It does a better job at its intention of being a Zelda-like than the gunk did at its intention of being a 3D Zelda-like.
This is one of those episodes where I regret that I don't have the Drugstore Pete costume on hand, because I would.
This is one of those episodes where I regret being born,
and I would grab the Drugstore Pete costume and ask him to take over for me, because I can't anymore. Let's move on. Okay, so today is indeed May the 4th. Star Wars something. Yes. I figured that we probably should do something Star Wars related on the podcast, and I figured, you know what? I'm just brimming with so much rage, so many complicated feelings about Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. Why not roll that into our Star Wars plans as well? And so I have assembled here a tier maker list, which I am calling how much would the characters of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, enjoy Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion?
God fucking damn it.
And so I have, right here at the bottom, all of the major-most characters of George Lucas's Star Wars Episode 1. And we're going to be determining where it is that they would land on this abomination of gaming. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. I do want to say, I came up with this thing at the very last minute. I have given no thought to any of these characters right now. So normally, like doing a tier maker thing like this, when it's just two people, like it has the potential to not be as interesting as it could be because, usually it's just one person driving the conversation. Like I said, I've done no thought into this at all. So I will be as fresh as you will be. All right.
Okay.
First off, we got a young Anakin Skywalker portrayed by Jake Lloyd.
I think young child Anakin Skywalker would like it fine.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, here's the thing. Young Anakin Skywalker, he's the kind of kid that does occasionally get real psyched about things. There's that famous scene where he said, man, that's real wizard, which The Mandalorian Season 3 ripped off. Or was it Boba Fett? Whatever.
Yeah.
He does also seem like the kind of kid who's a little bit quiet. I feel like he would actually be really confused by this game because there's all sorts of like greenery and plants, which Tatooine has nothing of. Like, I could also see him not caring either way.
I could see it there, but I think him and his childlike ambitions and his desire to have fun, whether it be pod racing or otherwise, pod racing or Padme, I think he would like it just fine.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's put it there. All right, next up. This guy isn't really... He's not exactly a character in the way that all of the other characters of Episode 1 are characters.
It's the droid army. It's the droid army droid.
It's the B1 battle droid is his official name.
Yes, that's it.
He's the Roger guy.
Yes.
So these guys are weird because, like, they're kind of depicted as having no real personality, but if you watch them in the Clone Wars, they, like, weirdly have a lot of personality, but obviously that's not, part of the conversation at hand. I think that these mofos would love it. I think these guys would absolutely eat it up and think, oh man, this is exactly what a Zelda game is supposed to be like. This is like...
I disagree.
Truly... Oh no? How come?
These are generic battle droid robots. I don't think they care either way. They could be reprogrammed to like it and love it. They could be reprogrammed to despise it. I don't think they care either way.
See, but like... my take on it is like, as machines, they're probably hardwired to be like, all right, if I'm evaluating what a Zelda game is, I just need to check to see that it has a certain number of elements that fulfill the criteria of that make it a Zelda game. All right, it has items, it has a guy with a sword, it has puzzles, therefore it's a Zelda game, therefore I love it.
But, okay, if they're programmed to evaluate it and compare the two, I don't think that they are programmed to have a opinion about it. They just are looking for that Zelda-like criteria. Based on your argument here, they still don't care either way. They are just checking to see if the two images are the same, and they whether or not they're being Pam from The Office and it's the same picture or not. I don't think they care either way.
See, the problem with this...
I will die on this hill.
As I said right up front, like, I think I'm letting my opinion of them from the Clone Wars seep into my opinion on them with regards to their opinion on Turnip Boy a little bit. All right, I'll just put it at don't care either way. But
these are you pitch this as these are the Episode 1. These are pictures from Episode 1. These are as they exist in Episode 1 in my brain canon.
That's fair.
Here.
That's fine. I won't disagree with you on that one. I will agree with you on that particular point. All right. Number 3, another beloved character from Star Wars Episode 1, Boss Nass, the boss of the Gungans.
I think he would dislike it personally.
Oh, how so?
Because
he recognizes that it's an abomination.
That's why.
All right, I'll put it at dislike it because I kind of like that impression. I thought that was pretty spot on. This is a little frustrating. The more characters that I put into this,
the stretchier it gets.
Yeah, the stretchier.
What if you control minus on the window? Will it fit?
Yeah, I guess
better?
I can do that. Hold on a sec.
Just one, just to see. Does it fit better?
Yeah, I might have to like resize the window a little bit. Hold on a second. Buy me a little bit of time.
Happy Star Wars Day. Also, 1 year since I had my biopsy. Which, if you go back a year in the podcast around this time, I appeared on the podcast one whole day after I was under the knife. I think I still got a scar here. You can't see it under my beard, but like I got a little scar right here in my chest.
Let me bring in one of the.
This is me buying for time here.
More zoomed in cameras. Now we're not even buying for time. Now we're just seeing what's under your beard.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. There should be like a little red line in my chest. I don't know. Right over here.
It's very vaguely visible.
Vaguely visible, yeah. But yeah, and that's also where I that day I also woke up from surgery to the news that Brad, Vinny, and Alex were leaving GiantBomb.com. So I was devastated upon waking up. They would a week later announce that they were creating Nextlander, which was super awesome, and is still going strong, still super awesome. I still listen to the podcast every week. But yeah, that's me killing for time. Are you done?
Oh yeah,
with the window?
I've been done.
Okay, perfect.
For quite some time now. Let's get back to the show. All right,
back to the show.
Next up, C-3PO, as he appears in Star Wars Episode 1, so you can see all his circuitries and whatnot sticking out.
I think C-3PO would despise it.
Really?
Really. C-3PO is so similar to the droid, the battle droids, how they're programmed to mostly be new. They're programmed to do what they're programmed to do. They're not programmed to have opinions. C-3PO is very much programmed to borderline sentience to have opinions. And I think he is just way too analytical and would overthink the experience of this game and would not understand the humor it brings. And I think he would despise it.
Yeah,
I'm not calling you a robot.
I think that's fair. I also think that he would also not perceive the ways in which this game is egregiously flawed, but I think that's besides the point. So we'll put him as one of the sure to be many people when we complete this list that despise it. All right.
Sure.
Next up, Chancellor Palpatine, of course, a good-natured Chancellor from Star Wars Episode 1, looking out for the goodwill of the galaxy and Anakin Skywalker.
Of course.
I see this as the kind of guy who would play this game to kind of throw the Jedi off the scent and make them think of him as a simpleton, just a simple man that enjoys simple, shallow games that are trying and failing to be like Zelda games.
I think he would present as either liking it fine or he doesn't care either way. But deep down at his core, his cold, dark, Sith-fueled heart, the core of that Sith dark heart he's got, I think he would despise it.
Wow.
Because he hates all things good.
I mean, I feel like he's also the kind of guy, though, that like he would not, even if he absolutely despises it because he hates all things good, I also think that he wouldn't even think about it all that much because it just left that little of an impression on it. So I would negotiate and say that he dislikes it.
Sure. Let's
All
meet
right.
there.
Perfect. Okay. Next up, the true hero of Star Wars Episode 1, Darth Maul.
Darth Maul. I think based on, so here we're at a bit of a nurture versus nature situation here. I think Darth Maul would based on his nature, I don't think he would care either way. I think he's been told to dislike it by influences stronger than him. And I think he's been manipulated into not liking this game.
Darth Maul, strikes me as the kind of person that aspires to be the best. He aspires to be a Darth Lord of the Sith so powerful that he can defeat even powerful, skilled Jedi like Qui-Gon Jinn. And so I think that when it comes to training to be the best, he can only play the best. This is a man that has played the original Legend of Zelda. He has played The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past, Darksiders 1, maybe Darksiders 2. I don't know if that game was as good. But he has never, in a single instance of his entire life, not even when he became Spider-Maul, ever so much as dared to touch this particular game. But being the venerable and generous Darth Lord of the Sith that he is, I think that he has agreed not to voice an opinion on it, having not played it, and thus does not care either way.
I still think, given the influence of his masters, I still think he is influenced too greatly by the dark side, and will have to dislike it.
All right. I mean, dislike it is still kind of neutral because it's not despising it, so we'll put it at that.
Yeah, he's more negative than not.
All right, let's talk about some of these spicier CGI characters from Star Wars Episode 1.
Boy.
These are Foda Sinbad, Anodu. These are the two-headed aliens that basically sportscast the Bunta Eve pod race during the first act or so of the movie. If I recall correctly, these guys were voiced by like some SNL comedians or whatever and felt kind of out of place in the movie.
Greg Proops, I think, was one of them.
Yes, that sounds correct.
Yeah. I don't think they care either way. They're just there to see an interesting race.
Yeah, I can see this being one of those cases where like one of them loves it and the other one despises it, but because they're two heads in one body, it basically cancels
they'd meet
out.
in the middle.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Next up, he inserted himself very briefly into this movie as a nice little cameo.
For no reason.
He didn't have his Kowakian lizard rat to keep him company. Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where Episode 1 Jabba the Hutt would put it. I feel like he wouldn't put up with the bullshit from it, so he would dislike it.
See, as I was, mentioning earlier that at this point in the timeline, Jabba the Hutt does not have whatever that guy's name is, the Kowakian lizard monkey. What's his name? The dude with like the very distinctive face that always laughs.
Yeah, I don't
Jabba
know what
does.
Yeah, I don't know.
Salacious Crumb. There we go. I didn't want to forget his name because it's a great name. See, I feel like
it's very good.
Before Salacious Crumb came along, this game was Jabba the Hutt Salacious Crumb. Whenever he would be in a bad mood, whenever he would have to kill too many people with his Rancor pit, he just look at the game and he just make one of those big bellyful Jabba laughs and everything would be good in the world for the Hutt.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
I'm surprised you're not putting up more of a resistance to this argument. I
don't know. I I was looking over all these characters, and I can't really, like... We all know, like, Jabba the Hutt's just a bad guy in general. I can't really argue for or against his interest in this game.
All right. Well, if we're not going to decide on anything, I'm going to go ahead and say that he loves it. Okay.
Sure. We'll put it there.
Moving on, we have a classic Star Wars Episode 1 character in the movie for quite a bit more than Jabba was in the movie, Jar Binks.
Yeah. I think Jar Binks will actually love it, to be honest. I think he likes a good time. I think Jar likes a good time. He's down for the ride. He's just down to have a good time.
I mean,
unless we're talking about the rumored Darth Jar Jar, in which case the influence of whatever his master was. But I think Jar Binks, as we see him in Episode 1, he's gonna like it.
If we're talking about Dark Jar Jar here for the sake of argument, like, see, I envision Darth Jar Jar as being the kind of guy that loves Turnip Boy Commits tax evasion because he truly recognizes the darkness in it, and the people below him, Chancellor Palpatine and Darth Maul and all the other Sith who are currently alive at this time, they don't really kind of recognize the extent of its depravity. They can only see barely an echo of what this Darth Lord of the Sith can see. Either way, I agree with you that this guy loves it. So let's go ahead and let's put him as...
Jar Jar totally loves it.
Hell yeah.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
All right. Next up, this character has split the opinions of many Star Wars fans over the years. Fun fact, he was actually like one of the first named characters that George Lucas came up with, although he was known as Mace Windu at the time. Mace Windu, portrayed by the venerable Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. I think he, just in general, won't care either way. He follows the code way too much.
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. This is one of those instances where I think we're both being influenced by the way that he looks in this particular portrait I got of him.
I don't know about that. I mean, the scene that's in, you know, he's given a particular set of rules and he follows them. Mm-hmm. But, you know, as we later learn in the next couple of episodes is, you know, he is able to, you know, think for himself and act on a dime a bit. It's just, in this particular instance, when push comes to shove, he will always do his best to make the rational choice. And I don't think he cares. I don't think this is of any consequence to him. His opinion of this, I don't think he cares.
All right. I have no disagreements. All right. Next up, Newt Gunray. Believe it or not, this character was not CGI in Star Wars Episode 1, despite being an alien, which is kind of an impressive feat. I feel like nobody ever really talks about it with this character.
There was a scream in the other room, which I think means the Leafs scored.
Oh. Yeah, those boys are doing pretty good lately, aren't they?
So far, so good. What is the score currently? I think it is probably 2-1 right now.
Wow. Do you
2-1 for Tampa Bay? Unfortunately, currently,
if they manage to pull things around and win the cup, do you like already have a plan in motion of how you want to celebrate?
I don't, but I'm quite sure Rachel does. When the Raptors won in 2019, She's not a basketball fan or anything like that. She just appreciates Toronto sports in general. She went to the big event downtown Toronto at City Hall, where all of the politicians and even Trudeau was there, and Doug Ford was there and got booed, and all that fun stuff. So I have no idea, but I will be along for the ride. That's for sure.
Well, wishing you all the best. As somebody from Montreal, I should be like opposed to you. I should be rooting for the Habs, but it seems like they are out of commission at the moment. Nor do I actually particularly care for them to begin with, honestly.
They didn't make the playoffs, which left enough room to have the big funeral service for Guy Lafleur.
Indeed.
So
indeed. All right. Newt Gunray. I think that this guy absolutely loves this game. I think that this guy was inspired to be a menace to the galaxy at large because he played this game and its evil addled his brain.
I don't think so. I don't think he loves this game. I think he loves his own ego too much. And I think he likes his own ego too much, and he can't get that out of his head, that when he sticks to the plan, his preconceived notions and the plan in his head, it ends up backfiring in his face. I think he despises it for that reason. Because he thinks he's on top of the world and has the correct take and has the correct opinion on this game. And very much the world is pushing back against him, and it bites him in the ass when he tries to pull one over.
Oh, see, I thought the way that you were going with it is that he despises this game because it reminds him of his own failings. It reminds him of the character of infamy that he has become.
Absolutely. I think that fits. He despises it. Whatever his rational or irrational justification is, regardless, I think he despises it.
All right. Newt Gunray despises Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. Next up, a very young Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think he likes it fine.
Really?
I think he does. I think he sees it for what it is and is enjoying it as he goes and is doing the best he can with what he's got.
I was thinking about this ahead of today's episode. I feel like we're a couple of Star Wars TV shows away from finally seeing what video games look like in the Star Wars universe. I feel like over the course of the past couple of years, we've gotten a little bit more insight into what like basic kind of household commodities and like forms of entertainment look like in that universe. And I feel like we got to be coming up against what video games look like soon.
Possibly. What makes you say that?
I don't know. It seems like something that they're eventually going to acknowledge sooner rather than later. You know what I mean?
Like some character, like maybe even off to the side, is going to be looking at a handheld device and interacting with it in a way that looks like he's competing with something.
Exactly.
Got it.
And like, what I'm really curious is like are the video games in Star Wars going to be like super hyper advanced? Like, are they going to be like a notch above like the VR thingamabob that Luke was playing with in Star Wars Episode 4? Or are they going to be kind of more like Game & Watch games, like souped up Game & Watch games? Because if it's the latter, I can see Obi-Wan Kenobi really liking it because he's like, wow, this game is like objectively better than all the other Game & Watch games we have going on in this universe.
But yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point.
I think that we have to put it at like fine. I think that we both found mutual ground for having him feel that way.
I think we did.
Padme Amidala in her iconic red,
Queen
white,
Amidala.
and gold dress. You have the duly elected Queen of Naboo, Amidala.
That's a weird thing to say. Elected queen.
Yes, but I mean, it's not me who said
It makes sense.
It was the movie.
I know. It makes sense.
The movie codified
in the context
it
of
into
the
canon.
movie. Yep. Okay. Trying to think. Well, okay, what's your take? Just off the top of your dome, what's your take here?
See, I feel like Queen Amidala, she's being like hurried to all sorts of dangerous corners of the galaxy at even such a young age, but I feel like there have to be times where she just needs to decompress. She just needs to have some puerile form of entertainment just fed to her. And normally that's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, but on the occasions that the DVD machine is broken, it's this game. And so I think that for that reason, she likes it just fine.
I'd agree. I agree with that take. That's a good take.
All right. Next up, we have a character who I don't even remember this guy appearing in this movie. I remember him more from Star Wars episodes 2 and 3. Captain Quarsh Panaka. He's the guy at the end of episode 3 that takes in baby Leia, if I remember correctly. He is Queen Amidala's chief of security at the Theed Palace.
Isn't that no?
Oh
no! At the end, baby Leia. No, baby Leia goes to Alderaan with Organa.
Oh, that's right. But this guy kind of looks like Bail Organa, doesn't he?
Potentially.
Oh, well, in that case, I don't know who.
This is not the same person.
In that case, I don't know who this guy is at all.
I think he's just like a bodyguard. He's like essentially a bodyguard for the Queen.
Right. Yeah.
Like a top general or something.
Yeah. I think this guy
for Naboo.
This guy occasionally has to watch Padme play this game, and I think he doesn't care either way.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he cares.
All right.
Like he's just there to do his thing. And he probably leans closer to like it fine than dislike it, but overall doesn't care either way.
All right. The man himself, he's a man of many talents, Qui-Gon Jinn.
I think he is such a true Jedi that he does not care either way. Much like Mace Windu.
Yeah, see, the thing about Qui-Gon Jinn is, even though I don't think it's like a particularly great performance from the one and only Liam Neeson, I do like that character, so I don't want to like make him seem like an idiot either way. So I'll put him at don't care either way. All
R2D2 right. Loves it.
Really? Now, why does R2D2 love it?
Because R2D2 is such a good, kind-hearted robot. He likes to have a good time, and he knows exactly what he likes, and he loves anything that reminds him of good old classic Zelda experience. R2D2 loves it.
Wow, I didn't know that R2D2 had like a ton of time to play Zelda games before he went on that ship to make that repair.
As much as he is friends with C-3PO, they are personality-wise and sensibility-wise fairly opposite in certain aspects, as much as they are friends.
Okay. See, on that point alone of having him be on the complete opposite of the spectrum, I'll cede and have him love it. I don't know if I entirely agree with your reasoning for him loving it specifically outside of the C-3PO
I would let you put it down to like it fine if you wanted.
No,
if you are more comfortable
I think love it is fine just for the diametric opposition of him and C-3PO. All right.
Got it.
Sebulba. Young Anakin Skywalker's greatest enemy.
He tried to sabotage Anakin's pod racer. He is a sore loser. He doesn't... He thinks it everything has to be catered to him and revolve around him in this instance. And he hates that this game does not meet that. He despises this game.
I mean, I will say, I feel like we kind of got to start putting some more people into the despise it category, because I said earlier that clearly that's how most of this list would net out.
But then you had me.
Yeah, and then I
reason
had
with you, and
the
we are
voice of reason on
balancing this out.
podcast.
We are balancing this out fairly well, surprisingly, and that is not intentional.
I'll just erase any reasoning that you said over the course of the past minute and put him at despise it so we can beef up this part. All right.
Sure.
Shmi Skywalker.
Yep. That
Mother
is
of Anakin.
Anakin's mother. Yep. Virgin mother of Anakin.
Yes, indeed.
Oh my god. I think, okay. She supports her son in the ventures he wishes to pursue, whether it be pod racing or building his robots or even going off to become a Jedi. She supports his son doing that, but she dislikes it. She doesn't always approve of everything, but she still supports her son doing the things that he chasing his dreams. I think she dislikes it. She's
really?
not. It's not. I don't think that she doesn't care. I think she cares, and she doesn't like it. But she doesn't like being away from her son. But she still sends him away because she knows it's what he wants, and she knows it will be good for him.
See, I thought the route that you were going with this one is that she likes it fine because of all of Anakin Skywalker's extracurricular passions, playing Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is like the one that is least likely to get him killed. It's like, oh yeah, if you want to play that game, that's totally fine.
This is Tatooine. This is cutthroat Tatooine at its peak. Look at she is literally a slave. If the slave did anything as egregious to committing tax evasion, she like your logic there doesn't quite add up. She doesn't like that sending her son away is the best option for him. But it is the best option for him. Because it won't get him killed.
All right.
But she doesn't like having... We can meet in the middle on it if you want.
You want to go don't care either way?
It's up to you. I think we both made valid arguments for either or.
I
so
think
putting it in the middle.
I think that we should put this in the middle and call it a day. All right.
Okay.
Next up, we have arguably the most memorable character from Star Wars Episode 1, Sio Bibble, the governor of Naboo. This guy has an amazing mustache and beard, and not much else going for him.
I think... Yeah, just on that alone, I think we just put him in the middle. He doesn't care either way.
See, I think that he loves this game because he recognizes that he doesn't have a whole lot going for him, and so he's like, "Well, I should have something going for me." Oh, I know. One of my, quirky personality traits will be the fact that I love Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. It'll be one of my bullet points on my Star Wars Wikipedia entry.
I'm willing to meet you in the middle and say he likes it fine.
Oh, really? So why doesn't he love it? Is it one of those things where like he wants to give off this impression of loving it, but secretly he recognizes its failings, and so he kind of is in the middle of being like, I love it, and I think it's fine. Like that?
As a governor, you sort of have to, as passionate as you may be about something, sometimes you have to take a moment and think about all the other outcomes and draw yourself in and concede a little bit. I think that is his intention. And I think he might actually just like it fine. Meeting in the middle.
Well, you know what they say, nobody truly knows what's going on in Sio Bibble's head. So either possibility could be 100% true. So he's going to go at like it fine. All right, we got 2 more characters on this list to go, and they are heavy hitters. First off, the penultimate one, Watto.
Watto. Greg Miller's Watto.
Yeah, that's his that's his full name. I was trying to
that's his full
as
name.
I was saying his name, I was trying to remember, does Watto have like a first or last name, or is it just Watto? And then you said Greg Miller's Watto. I'm like,
Miller.
Yep, that's right. That's his full name.
That's absolutely what it is. I think Watto dislikes it.
Really?
Because he doesn't understand it.
Sure. Let's put a period after that statement and let's move on.
Okay.
All right. Finally, last but not least, Yoda, portrayed by the venerable Frank Oz, and also by CGI and or puppetry, depending on which version of the movie you're watching.
Okay, so I think this is going to be the hardest one to actually place. Because if you look at the rest of this list, aside from Obi-Wan, there are 2 other Jedi here currently. Mace Windu and what's his name? Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon Jinn, that's it. Now, instinctually, you would think to maybe put it in the middle, because that would make it perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Mm-hmm.
But putting it in the middle is such a not... Putting Yoda, Master Yoda, in the middle goes against his teaching of do or do not. There is no try.
So if I can just interject here very quickly, I also think, however, that Yoda is the kind of guy that is, so old and so wise beyond the years of anybody else on the Jedi Council that, like, he is beyond simple discussions of, like, whether things are, good or bad in terms of their design. Like, he sees unseen truths about all things in nature that we'll never be able to understand. And so when you present him with a game like Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, he doesn't see its failings and missteps or, positive qualities. He sees something else entirely. And I'm trying to wonder, is that thing that he sees that is entirely different from what we perceive something truly repugnant and awful, or is it something illuminating and wonderful?
So I think I just had an epiphany.
Whoa.
Triggered by my Thanos Avengers quote. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. The Jedi discovering Anakin and realizing how great his power may be via the midichlorians in his system. The intention is for Anakin to bring balance to the Force. Yoda agrees to allow him to become a Jedi because of the potential Anakin has to bring balance to the Force. And in Episode 1, there is still hope. Old hope, not a new hope, but hope. So do or do not, there is no try. But we have not reached that point yet in episode 1. He is still attempting. They either will or they won't. We do not know.
Okay, this is
if they will bring balance
AJ,
to the Force.
If we keep going, this episode will be as long as Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Put him in the middle.
What? Hold on. I thought you were going to say that he loves or despises it. What do you mean doesn't care either way?
Did you not listen to what I just said? Any of what I just said?
I don't know, like the first half hour of it. It was a very long and impassioned speech, and I appreciated your passion, but at a certain point I had to turn it off.
His intention is to bring balance to the Force with Anakin. Currently, Anakin is leading positive as a child because that is what will bring balance. His intention to bring balance puts Yoda in the middle.
I mean, this just feels like what a cynical way to bring balance to the Force by not caring about something. I'm going to, allow all things to exist as they should be by utterly just turning my nose up at it and just showing it no love.
It is a choice that each Jedi can make. Right? They can either make the choice to be on the light side or the dark side. And he wants to bring balance to the Force. Put him in the middle.
Yeah. See, the problem is that unfortunately, I don't feel like I can really make a particularly strong argument as to why he would either love it or despise it, like one way or the other. So, yeah, I guess he has to be doesn't care either way. Which I realize you could make the argument that this is kind of a victory that so many characters on the list ended up not caring about this game, but I really was hoping that we would have more characters bringing fire and fury upon this vaguely Zelda-like experience, but alas, this is how the list nets out. So, if you're an audio listener, I'll just briefly recap. The characters from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, that love Turnip Boy Commit Tax Evasion are Jabba the Hutt, Jar Jar, and R2-D2. The characters that like it fine are young Anakin Skywalker, young Obi-Wan Kenobi, young Padme Amidala, and what's his face? The guy with the beard and the mustache. He's the governor of Naboo. I don't know. Who cares? The people who don't care either way are the B-1 battle droid, the two alien sportscasters, one of which was portrayed by that one guy from SNL.
Greg Proops.
Yeah.
And it was Whose Line Is It Anyway?
There we go. That's right. I remember Whose Line Is It Anyways. Good show.
It's a good show. Very good show.
Mace Windu, the guy who I thought was Bail Organa but was not Bail Organa, Qui-Gon Jinn, Shmi Skywalker, and Yoda. The characters who dislike it are Boss Nass, the venerable and loving Chancellor Palpatine, who means good for the galaxy. What's his face? The guy, Darth... All right, so to give you a little insight into my mind right now, I'm like, fuck, why am I completely blanking on this really obvious Star Wars character's name? What's this guy? He becomes like part spider, right? He becomes like a spider Maul. Damn it, his name's Darth Maul. Why did I not? How did being reminded of Spider Maul help me rediscover within my mind that his name is Darth Maul? I don't know how this happens, AJ. I don't know what is going on in my brain these days.
Who can say?
Darth Maul, and finally Watto. And the characters who despise it are original Lo-Fi C-3PO, Newt Gunray, and Sebulba.
You got it.
All right. You want to talk about video games?
Yeah, let's close out this whatever this was and actually talk a little bit about video games.
I mean, I will say to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit. I've not been playing a lot, so I wanted to kind of make sure that we had something more. Yeah, you've actually been playing quite a few things, which
I've been playing a few things.
Impressed me.
I'm gonna let you pick what one I talk about first. Then we'll jump to yours.
Let's talk about Halo Infinite Season 2, because Halo Infinite Season 1 was a game that I actually got into for quite a bit, and it's been quite some
Yep.
time since I've played Halo
Mhm.
Infinite, and I'm curious how you found the second season of this game.
So far it's actually okay. It's I would struggle to say that it's going to bring back as many people that were as into it as when the game first launched, because that was just a truly magical moment. But the new modes, and the new season in general, a new battle pass to work your way down, I think are going to spark a little bit of interest that is desperately needed in this game. Just on a whim yesterday, on my Twitch channel, I decided, fuck it, I'm going to boot it up. I'm going to download the update, and I'm just going to go live on Twitch and just play it. And so I played a bunch of the Last Spartan Standing, which is their new elimination mode, which some people liken it to a battle royale of sorts, which it very much is influenced by, because so it's a 12-player Slayer elimination match where each player gets 5 lives, and those 5, those when you run out of the 5 lives, you lose, essentially, right?
Right.
As you get more kills, you get experience, and then you can upgrade your you don't up, you when you gain experience, you go up a level, and that unlocks a new tier of gun, and everybody has the same tier of guns that they unlock in a certain order. After you get to a certain number of players that are remaining, every kill starts dropping experience that you can run out into the middle of the map and pick up the experience from the fallen other player. And it's a risk reward. Like, it'll put you out in the open, and you're standing still for a good 5 seconds, and that's just enough time for somebody to sneak up on you. But yeah, the Last Spartan Standing mode is pretty good, and it's a very nice addition. I wish we had a playlist with it sooner or something.
Has 343 Industries itself been advertising this mode as Halo Infinite's Battle Royale mode, or is this like a fan thing that fans have been latching onto this mode and saying, "Oh, this is Halo's Battle Royale mode"?
It's a bit of both in that.
Okay. Because it sounds cool. Like, I will definitely try this out at some point within the near future, because it sounds like a fun time. I definitely like the idea of having a limited number of lives and being able to play strategically and level up your guns in doing so. This is not.
Yeah.
This sounds as far apart from a battle royale as you possibly could get in terms of a multiplayer mode, other than the permadeath part, which itself comes with the asterisk of, well, you have multiple lives.
Correct. You have multiple lives, and if you're smart, you can make it to the end. The furthest I got was second place. And when I got to that second place, I had no lives remaining, and the other person had 4 lives remaining, and 0 counts. So he had 4 plus 1, essentially. Because your life count ticks down until it's empty, and then you cannot respawn anymore. It's less about lives and more, you have 5 respawns that you can do. If that makes more sense. But yeah, the new map is interesting. It's I think they need to work another map into this game mode, even if it's one of the older ones. Because it's a little brown and gray. I forget what this map is called even, but it's this weird new sandy banished themed map, like some banished wreckage or whatever. But in terms of the other aspects of season 2, I played on one of the other new maps. I also forget what that one was called. It looks very reminiscent to there was a map in Halo 4, but this is like very old Forerunner architecture map that is very run down. That other map, if you scroll a bit further, it'll be I think there. Yes, this is the one. On this map here, it's very reminiscent of like a couple other maps. It for some reason really reminds me of one in Halo 4. But I think that's just the art style of it. I think this looks really nice and it looks really cool. But yeah, season 2, the rest of it, I don't think it's necessarily enough. By the sounds of it, it'll be another few months before we get another season. I think the end of the summer, so like end of August, beginning September is what I've seen online. So I don't know if this is going to be enough. I think the new battle pass, it plays just like the other battle passes with the challenges and everything, which are still not good. Because what I ended up doing is I found myself in the last Spartan standing. They had, it's a very specific Lone Wolves event that they have going on, where in the last Spartan standing, it's it's just an event that gives you exclusive armor in that event. And by doing the challenges linked to that event, you rank up that miniature battle pass, and those challenges don't give you experience towards the regular battle pass. But it'll still unlock armor and stuff for you during this event. It's not things like get 3 melee kills. In a certain game mode got me so fixated on trying to run up close to people rather than just trying to survive and win that I just wanted the challenge, and it's a bad solution in my opinion. The challenges were a bad solution because all it does is distract from the core part of the gameplay, and when you have other teammates who have their own challenges that they're trying to accomplish, nobody works together as a team, myself included. And it just becomes problematic. I hope they figure out a better solution in the future. But
okay, I'm a little bit surprised that with this game they haven't taken kind of the approach of games like Mario Kart 8, for example, in the kind of selection of the levels that they offer, where it's like, hey, we'll have one original level and then we'll have one kind of remastered, souped up version of a old pre-existing level, in the same way that Mario Kart 8 is like, hey, here's Baby Park, but it's all anti-gravity, and you have those little anti-gravity things, and it's an old thing, but we've made it kind of new and fresh.
I wonder if any of that has to do with like the new mobility in this. Like, old maps would have to be so greatly tweaked that probably wouldn't it would be hard with the clambering and climbing up on ledges, as well as the sliding and sprinting. It would be a completely different game than what it used to be. It could be the same map, but is it still going to be a good experience? And I imagine that they're struggling with figuring that out. I don't know. I'm not a game designer, but I would like to see just them. I would like them to just dump all the old maps into it, graphics and all, Just put them in.
Wow.
Who cares?
Kind of
Just
like
do it.
Kind of like when they included a bunch of the old like Nintendo 64 stages in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah, that, and even in Mario Kart they actually like remade and remastered for like all the new stuff,
right,
but
that's the difference.
Yeah, that's the difference there. No, the Smash Brothers one where they just brought in the old maps. That's perfect. That's a perfect analogy. Just put it in. And let us figure it out. You can keep it out of competitive modes if you want, and just have like official maps and whatever is proven, and maps that people actually like and aren't exploitable.
Right.
But yeah. Other than that, I think it's a positive move for Halo. Is it enough? Probably not. I will probably finish the battle pass and then put it down again.
Sounds good. On my end, I have been playing a metric ton of Kingdom Hearts. I feel bad that this is the one video game series that I'm always bringing to the table every time we do one of these podcasts, but alas, they take a real long time to platinum. However, everybody who's currently listening to this podcast, you will be happy to know that I finally got my Kingdom Hearts 3 platinum out of the way. This is my 215th platinum. Let me tell you, this was a pretty long platinum, and definitely not my favorite Kingdom Hearts series platinum. I feel like there was a lot of bullshit I need to do that didn't involve me really kind of using the slickness of Sora's combat or magical abilities, which is definitely the best part of Kingdom Hearts 3. There are these little mini games in the game. Earlier, I mentioned Game & Watch in talking about Star Wars. Kingdom Hearts 3 has an entire suite of like Game & Watch inspired Kingdom Hearts games where you're like controlling Sora and Mickey in these very kind of basic like 2D little mini games, and they're just not very fun, but you got to play all of them if you want the platinum. And I really kind of resented the game for doing that. But nevertheless, I managed to get it out of the way. And after getting it out of the way, I decided, you know what? No better time than now than to jump into Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, which is the DLC expansion thingamabob that they released for Kingdom Hearts 3 last year. Let me tell you, I was so smitten with the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind opens up with a 45-minute long cutscene. Just a real big long chunker of a cutscene. And to be clear, it's not like a single 45-minute long cutscene. It's like 4 different characters and like 4 different scenarios doing things that are all back to back and make up 45 minutes. But I was just so happy that the game Remind immediately understands, hey, if you're dropping a $40 deuce to buy this game that has the audacity to be called Mind, you're here for some major lore nuggets. So let's just lay it on real thick right off the bat. Man, oh man, I am all here for it, and I was so disappointed that I eventually had to go to bed at 2 a.m. so I could wake up at 7. Not much else to say there. I'll definitely be playing Remind a little bit longer because one of the things that it offers, in addition to new story content, is it also has like a bunch of super bosses that apparently will really put your skills to the test at the very end. Much like what was the case with the end game of Kingdom Hearts 2, which also had like a lot of super bosses there as well. AJ.
Yes.
There's one more thing I wanted to talk about with you on this fair podcast. It's not a game, It's a book.
Oh!
You have been reading Disrupting the Game by Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Reggie Fils-Aimé is how you pronounce that.
Yes. I was trying to be cute in the way that I said it, but it came out real wrong.
Oh.
It's all right.
That's okay. Yeah, the Reggie's book, which you can see a lot of the there are a lot of interviews going on right now. There's one at G4, there's one at Kind of Funny. I'm sure other media outlets have also done interviews with Reggie so far. I'm only 3 chapters into it at this point. I bought the book hardcover, and I've used also one of my Audible credits to listen to the audiobook as well. But what I've been doing, because I have ADHD, because I really want to pay attention to this book, because I'm actually interested in a book for once, is take in as much information as I can. And to my surprise, Reggie actually is the narrator of the audiobook. So if you have missed hearing scripted Reggie Fils-Aimé discuss something like I have since his retirement, it is a joy. I'm only 3 chapters into it. It talks about a lot of his so far, like his upbringing, his family history a little bit, and his chosen career path, and how he got there. Opening the book, the first chapter is a lot about his time with Iwata, and how they became very good friends, despite being culturally opposite to each other and constantly having disagreements, but respectfully, and how they navigated that and were able to maintain a friendship right up until Iwata's unfortunate passing. In these periodically through each chapter in this book, he has small sections. I'll just hold it up to the camera here, that are highlighted in like a gray box called the "So What." You're not going to be able to read it because it's blurring it out.
Real blurred out.
Which you don't have. That's fine. You don't have to read it, but it's a separate section in the book. But not a separate section. Just like in between like paragraphs here. It's like this. Okay, so the "So What." So imagine he's giving you a lecture on something, right? And telling you a story from his personal experience. So what? Who cares? What is the point? And he's very eloquently summarizes the lesson he learned from the story he told and shares it with the reader so that hopefully, we might be able to learn it too. I think it's a very cool way to put a very succinct way to put the lesson you're supposed to read from it. And it doesn't leave it up to your imagination. Oh, I had this experience. Take with that what you will. No, he says, I had this experience, and here's what I believe it taught me and how it made me successful. Hopefully you can take this lesson to apply it to your life and bring a little success into your life as well.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it is super neat. And it's super cool. And the 3 chapters that I'm reading, that I've read so far, I'm really enjoying it. The audiobook is about 8 hours long or so. So it's not too long of a listen if you got time, if you got a commute or something that you could listen to it on. I highly recommend it. For my ADHD, I am literally reading the book along with the words, and it's helping me not get distracted. So I think that might have to be how I read books for the rest of my life.
All right.
I don't know. But yeah, Disrupting the Game by Reggie Fils-Aimé in stores now. I bought it. I bought it twice technically.
Awesome. Any juicy bits about the Metroid series in there?
Not yet,
because I know a lot of people have been. I know a lot of people have been mining this book for. What does Reggie have to say about Mother 3? What did he try to do to get it over to the West? I was curious if maybe there was a Metroid thing. Or
have you watched the Kinda Funny Games Cast episode where they have Reggie on?
I still have not had the chance to do so.
I will not spoil it, but based on the questions you just asked, you need to watch that.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Before we close out this episode, I made a glaring omission that I should have corrected way earlier on in the podcast. Although I will say, now that I'm about to read it out loud, I wish we could still omit it. On Monday, I mentioned that we were going to be reviewing Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion on Twitter, and said, as we always do whenever we're about to review a YYZ review a game, that we want to hear from you, the listener. And Kevin Ainsworth, at the Muffin Mon, who has previously been on this show, albeit not when I was on, said, I loved it. Was not what I expected at all. Lots of fun, silly humor, and a good indie Zelda clone doesn't outstay its welcome. Only complaint, 2 glitched achievements keeping me from getting the 100%. I seriously had to force my brain to get through the rest of that just statement of a statement. Nathan actually responded to his issue.
He couldn't make a video for us, but he could tweet about it.
Yeah. He actually responded to Kevin Ainsworth's issue of not being able to get all the achievements, saying, same here on the glitch achievements, which, let me tell you, not a lot of games out there have glitched trophies or achievements. Not a lot of games out there have that. So really, really says a lot about the quality of software that we're dealing with here. Kevin Ainsworth actually responded to this saying they might be fixed now. I just saw the devs say they released a patch. I'll try later, but hope they fix soon. Now, of course, every single video game developer under the sun releases patches for their games nowadays. It's not unusual. It's totally understandable if you got to do it, even if it's for a game that's 3 hours long. Still, you don't want to leave people hanging like that. You get to the end of that trophy list and those final 2 trophies or achievements aren't popping. That is a awful sinking feeling to be experiencing. And I think that this deserves to be discussed in greater detail. AJ, what do you say? Do you have another hour in you? You want to talk about how this game is a failure from the perspective of trophies and achievements?
No. I think shit happens, and I think this is... I don't know anything about the dev team. I think this was probably a small team that decided, hey, it's a pandemic right now. What are we going to do? Let's make a video game. Okay, let's template it off of Zelda and give it a stupid world to live in. And I think they did the best they could with the resources they had in the time they had it. And I think overall, despite some unfortunate glitching issues and unfortunate user-generated save problems for just
so
assuming...
You're saying it's my fault that I generated the reason for my own misfortune. You're saying that they're not responsible for it.
I think if you paused the game at any point, you would have seen save and quit in the menu, and you wouldn't be as upset.
4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, I'll stick to it. Fuck it.
End the show.
I'll stick
AJ.
to it.
End the show.
All right, get me the hell out of here. I also played the Switch Sports, or Wii Sports 3, as I like to call it.
Ooh.
But well, maybe Nathan's gonna get it, and maybe in 2 weeks we'll talk about it more with him. Next week, are we having a guest next week?
Maybe, we'll see. Talks are
maybe
currently
we'll
in
see.
The works.
I don't know if this person has played it or not, but we will see what happens. And maybe we'll save that for next week, because I could still play a little bit more of it. But yeah, so that's it. Thank you for tuning in to Press YYZ. If you enjoyed this broadcast, be sure to follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube, and review the show on your podcast service of choice. You can also check us out on Twitter at PressYYZ and slide into our Discord at invite.gg/PressYYZ to keep the conversation going. Until next time, nice haircut, Kozi.
Oh, thank you. We didn't even talk about that on the main episode. Do you want to do another hour to talk about my haircut?
Absolutely not.
Damn.
Kill your recording.